A woman's power is not in how quickly she opens her doors, but in how gracefully she opens her soul. And a soul like yours, my dear, is not to be rushed, touched, or tasted by hurried hands. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she decides, my time is my throne, and the one who wishes to sit beside me must first learn how to rise within himself. This is where the 5 tonight rule is born, not out of fear, not out of pride, but out of self-worth carved from fire, lessons, heartbreak, and resurrection. A high-value woman does not rush her heart. She lets no one walk into her life with muddy feet. She studies their intentions, their patterns, their truths before she ever offers her softness, because a woman like you knows desperation has never built a queen, but discipline always has. She observes, not absorbs. She watches actions, not words. A high-value woman moves through the world like a quiet storm, powerful without noise and aware without announcing her awareness. She sees everything. She hears everything, but she does not let everything enter her spirit, because she has learned through heartbreak, through disappointment, through nights she had to rebuild her own heart, that what people say is often a performance, but what they do is always the truth. When someone comes to her with sweet promises, she does not fall into the honey of their words. She watches how they behave when the world isn't watching. She studies the moments that aren't curated or rehearsed. The late replies, the sudden shifts, the careless tone, the way they treat the waiter, the way they handle stress, the way they speak about people who can't defend themselves. These are the footprints of their character, and she knows footprints never lie. Think about the friend who says, I will always be there for you, but disappears the moment you need help moving a single box. She has learned not to absorb those claims. She simply observes. She notices that the ones who talk loud are often the quietest when actions are required. She does not break down or blame herself. She simply adjusts her expectations and moves on. Because she knows real loyalty does not shout, it shows up. Or the man who says, you are everything I've been searching for, yet cannot commit to a simple plan, cannot prioritize a simple call, cannot respect a simple boundary. A woman of high value does not let these words pierce her skin. She does not internalize his inconsistency as her inadequacy. She observes how he behaves when patience is required, how he responds when she says no, how he treats her when she gives nothing but her presence. She knows that every man can speak desire, but only a genuine man can demonstrate respect. In her workplace, she sees the colleague who always brags about his dedication, yet he is the first to complain and the last to contribute. Instead of absorbing his dramatics, she simply observes his patterns. She realizes that some people are addicted to attention, not excellence. She keeps her peace, keeps her focus, keeps her growth, because she understands something powerful. Your energy is too sacred to spend defending yourself against people who were never honest with themselves. A high-value woman has learned a secret that changes everything. And people reveal themselves without trying. Watch long enough, and the truth will always step forward. When jealousy arises around her, she does not absorb the poison. She watches the behavior. She sees unprovoked comments, forced comparisons, dry congratulations, conversations filled with jokes that cut too deep. She does not fight for their approval. She does not beg for their love. She simply observes. She understands that a heart that cannot celebrate others has never learned how to celebrate itself. In friendship, she notices who claps when she wins and who falls silent. She notices who asks how she is and who only calls when they need something. She watches who lifts her when she's tired and who drains her when she's giving. She realizes that loyalty is not spoken, it is lived, and she builds her circle with intention, not impulse. In dating, she does not absorb pressure, flattery, or urgency. She observes his effort. When a man says, I want to see you, she waits to see if he makes a plan. When he says, I'm different, she lets time reveal whether he is consistent. When he says, I care, she watches if he shows care in the small, unglamorous moments. When she is tired, when she is stressed, when she is quiet. She trusts patterns, not poems. She has learned the difference between someone who is interested and someone who is invested. Interest asks for your time. Investment protects your time. There is power in choosing observation over absorption. She does not carry every negative comment, every broken promise, every false apology inside her spirit. She does not let people's chaos become her storm. She does not let their moods manipulate her worth. She does not let their inconsistency rewrite her story. When someone criticizes her for growing, she observes their insecurity. When someone ghosts her, she observes their immaturity. When someone tries to guilt trip her, she observes their entitlement. When someone can't celebrate her, she observes their jealousy. When someone stops trying, she observes the end. She does not absorb these things as signs that she is not enough. She recognizes them as signs that she is outgrowing people who were never meant to walk her whole journey. Daily life has taught her that the loudest person in the room is often the weakest, that the person who promises forever often leaves before morning, and that the one who says, "Trust me," is often the one who hasn't trusted themselves in years. She does not get swept away by these things. She anchors herself in patience, observation, and wisdom. Her mindset is powerful. Let me see who you are when you think I am not paying attention. Because she knows something that changes the entire game. Words are temporary, actions are permanent, and time is the greatest truth teller. People show their character not by what they say to impress you, but by how they behave when life is not staged, filtered, or flattering. A high-value woman does not chase potential. She studies reality. She does not guess intentions. She observes patterns. She does not lose herself trying to hold on to someone who behaves like she is replaceable. Instead, she walks with quiet power, steady grace, and eyes wide open, not to judge, but to understand. Not to expose others, but to protect herself. Not to fear love, but to recognize truth. She observes, not absorbs. Because she knows her spirit is too precious to be shaped by anything less than real, consistent, honest action. She lets a man pursue. She never moves first out of fear or loneliness, because she knows that love built on fear collapses and love built on loneliness blinds you. She refuses to be guided by the shakiness of an empty night or the ache of a quiet phone. She has learned that the moment a woman starts chasing, she stops choosing, and a high-value woman always chooses. She chooses herself, her peace, her dignity, and her worth before she ever chooses a man. She knows that a man's effort is not just an action, it is a declaration of intention. A man who wants you will come toward you. A man who sees your value will move, call, show up, and stay. She understands that when a woman initiates out of insecurity, she teaches a man that she will do the emotional lifting, the emotional chasing, the emotional proving. But she does not live to prove anything. She lives to be seen, not hunted, valued, not begged for, respected, not negotiated. Think of the woman who texts first every time. She is always the one to ask, "Are you free?" Always the one to check in, always the one to hold the connection together like a thread that keeps snapping. She waits for his replies like a student waits for exam results. But a high-value woman has learned through her scars that if she must beg for his time, she will later have to beg for his loyalty, his presence, his honesty. She lets a man show who he is without her guiding his hand, because she knows what starts with chasing ends with exhaustion. Picture the woman who stayed in a talking stage for months, doing all the effort. She told herself, if I don't text him, he'll forget me, or if I don't show interest, he might move on. But a woman of worth now understands the truth. He forgets you because you stopped chasing. He was never thinking about you at all. She refuses to chase a ghost of attention. She allows the truth to reveal itself. And truth always does. When she walks into a relationship, she does not run ahead to clear the path. She slows down. She watches. She lets the man step forward if he wants a place beside her. If he doesn't move, she doesn't drag him. If he doesn't call, she doesn't double text. If he doesn't try, she doesn't remind him. She lets the distance speak. She lets the silence answer. She lets the inconsistency reveal the reality. Because she knows that a woman's chase gives a lazy man power. A woman's patience gives a genuine man a chance. She has witnessed the girl who says, if I don't flirt back quickly, he will lose interest. But she knows that any man who loses interest because you didn't throw yourself at him was only interested in your availability, not your essence. She doesn't want the kind of love that evaporates when she stops entertaining. She wants the kind of love that grows when she stands still. She allows a man to show if he's serious. She listens to his effort, not his excuses. She pays attention to whether he makes plans or just promises. If he wants to meet, he will set a time. If he cares, he will show consistency. If he respects her, he will move with clarity. She does not push him into leadership. She watches if he knows how to lead himself. She understands something most women are never taught. If a man truly wants you, no distance is too far, no conversation is too long, no effort is too much. A man who desires you will never risk losing you because of laziness. In her daily life, she sees the woman who lowers her standards because she is afraid of being alone. She sees the woman who stays up late waiting for his message, even though she knows he texts her only when he's bored. She sees the woman who answers immediately because she fears he might choose someone else. Yet a high-value woman whispers to herself, "What is meant for me will not need to be chased. It will stay. It will choose me too." She lets him pursue because effort reveals reality. She lets him pursue because she deserves to feel wanted, not tolerated. She lets him pursue because chasing makes a woman forget her worth, while being pursued makes her remember it. She lets him pursue because she knows the difference between a man who is curious and a man who is committed. Think of the moments when she sits with her phone in her hand, tempted to say, "Hey, I miss you." But she stops, not out of pride, but out of wisdom. She reminds herself, if he missed me, I would already know. She reminds herself that the right man doesn't need hints or pressure. He takes initiative. She reminds herself that any relationship she has to force is a relationship she will later regret. She has learned that loneliness is a feeling, not a reason to lower her standards. She knows that the nights that feel empty are the nights that build queens. She knows that the days he doesn't call are the days that teach her self-respect. She knows that the silence she gives him is the mirror that reveals his intentions. She lets a man pursue because she understands a powerful truth. And a woman who knows her worth doesn't chase love. She attracts it through her grace, her strength, her boundaries, and her silence. Test his consistency. A high-value woman understands that anyone can speak beautifully. Anyone can make promises. Anyone can smile and seem invested for a moment. But it is consistency that separates the fleeting from the faithful, the shallow from the substantial. Words are easy, but actions are the true measure of a person's intent. She watches closely, she waits patiently, she observes patterns because she knows that life does not reward appearances. It rewards truth in motion. Consider the man who calls and texts fervently in the first week, fills her ears with sweet nothings, and paints her sky with golden promises. By the second week, the calls are fewer, the message is shorter, the warmth slightly diminished. Many women would ignore the shift, explaining it away with excuses like he's busy or he had a rough day. But a high-value woman knows that the test is not in grand gestures. It is in what regular, consistent effort. She watches, she notes, she measures, because if someone cannot remain present when the excitement fades, how can she expect him to be there when life's storms arrive? In daily life, she sees this test reflected in small, mundane actions. A man who says he values her time will arrive when he says he will, even if traffic or fatigue makes it inconvenient. A man who says he respects her feelings will ask before making decisions that affect her. A man who says he loves her will speak kindly, not just in words, but in the quiet gestures, opening a door, remembering what she likes, listening when she speaks, and being patient when she needs space. The high-value woman takes note of these patterns because in truth is revealed in repetition, not in rarity. She has witnessed a friend whose partner promises forever, but forgets anniversaries, ignores boundaries, and disappears at the first sign of challenge. She has seen the colleague whose dedication sounds grand, but who fails to follow through on simple commitments. She understands deeply that inconsistency is not a flaw to be corrected, but a signal to be observed. Testing consistency is not about suspicion. It is about indiscernment. about letting life show you who people really are before your heart invests fully. Think about the man who claims he wants to build a future with her, but never checks in during the day. He says, "I care about you," but his actions contradict his words. A high-value woman does not rationalize, explain, or excuse. She tests. She observes whether he calls when he says he will, whether he keeps promises, whether his actions align with his words across time. Because love is not just passion, it is commitment repeated every day in small ways that often go unnoticed by those who chase the thrill. She also tests consistency and emotional availability. Some men can be attentive one day and absent the next, warm when convenient and cold when challenged. Many women absorb these fluctuations, wondering if they are being too sensitive or too demanding. A high-value woman does not absorb these inconsistencies as her problem. She observes them as evidence. She asks herself, does he show up for me when I am at my lowest or only when it suits him? She notices whether he apologizes and learns from mistakes, whether he communicates honestly and openly, whether he demonstrates reliability when life is not easy. In the context of friendships, she applies the same principle. She notices the friend who only calls when they need something, the one who celebrates victories superficially but disappears during struggles, the one who excuses absence with empty words. She understands that inconsistency is the language of loyalty, and she surrounds herself with people who speak fluently. In dating and romantic relationships, she tests consistency through intentional boundaries. She does not bend over backward to accommodate erratic behavior. She keeps her schedule, her routines, and her standards intact and watches how he reacts. Does he respect her time and choices, or does he complain, pressure, and manipulate? She observes whether he continues to pursue her thoughtfully and patiently, or whether his interest fades after initial excitement. She knows that true desire withstands waiting, that true respect manifests over time, and that true love is revealed in patterns, not promises. She has learned that testing consistency is a form of self-preservation. It is a declaration that her heart is not a playground for wishful thinking or temporary desire. She knows that inconsistent effort is a warning sign, not a challenge to overcome. She understands that a person who cannot be steady in small things cannot be trusted with big ones. Even in professional life, she tests consistency. She notices the coworker who makes grand claims but never delivers, the client who promises payment but constantly delays, the partner who talks vision but avoids action. She observes patterns over time, knowing that the reliability of a person is the currency of trust. The woman who tests consistency in every area of her life builds resilience, clarity, and wisdom. Testing consistency is not cold, it is courageous, it is not cynical, it is discerning, it is a way of aligning herself with reality. Rather than hope or illusion, she allows the world to show her who it truly is, and she responds with presence, not desperation. She recognizes that in love and loyalty are cultivated, not claimed, and she positions herself where both can grow. She sees the value in patience, in waiting to witness patterns, in observing repetition over time. She understands that inconsistency is not an invitation to chase. It is a signal to measure, to evaluate, and to protect her heart. She tests consistency because she respects herself, because she knows her worth, and because she refuses to settle for anything less than integrity in action, not just words. She tests consistency because she knows that anyone can promise the moon, but only those who walk the path with her day after day, moment after moment, action after action are worthy of her trust, her time, and her love. Keep your mystery. A high-value woman understands that not everything about her is meant to be revealed all at once. She knows that the power of intrigue lies not in secrecy for the sake of hiding, but in patience, self-respect, and intentional revelation. She moves through life like a rare book with pages that turn slowly, a story that unfolds chapter by chapter, leaving people wanting more, not because she is elusive, but because she is valuable, aware, and whole within herself. She knows that if she lays herself bare too quickly, she risks being understood before she is truly known, taken before she is truly cherished, or taken for granted before she is fully appreciated. Think about a woman at work who is intelligent, ambitious, and talented. She does not feel the need to share every idea, every plan, every emotion immediately. She lets her actions speak first, letting people see the results of her hard work before she explains the effort behind them. She doesn't announce her victories. She allows others to notice them naturally. She understands that people often underestimate value that is given too freely, but they admire and respect value that is revealed with intention. She keeps her mystery by letting her work, her demeanor, and her presence communicate her worth, leaving others intrigued rather than entitled. In relationships, she doesn't give all her heart at once. She doesn't share her deepest fears, every past heartbreak, or every desire in the first week or even month. She allows conversations to build, connections to deepen, and trust to be proven before she offers the most intimate parts of herself. She has seen too many women rush, believing that transparency equals love, and she has learned the opposite. Love that is forced through early oversharing is rarely lasting. By keeping her mystery, she teaches the world that her soul is not a commodity, that her emotions are sacred, and that her energy is not to be spent lightly. She knows in daily life that mystery is not about hiding her values, it is about protecting her energy. When friends ask personal questions or when someone pries into her life, she responds with measured words. She shares what feels safe, what aligns with her intentions, what builds connection without depleting her. She has learned that people who truly care will respect her boundaries, and those who don't are revealed in their impatience or insistence. Every word she chooses, every secret she keeps, every story she reveals gradually is a lesson in patience, respect, and self-empowerment. Consider the woman who never over-explains herself in conversations. She doesn't feel the need to justify every choice, every decision, every boundary. When a colleague challenges her methods, she calmly explains what is necessary, then moves forward. When a friend questions her absence or silence, she answers briefly, gracefully, without apology for her self-respect. She understands that over-explaining is a form of surrender, a way of giving power away to those who may not deserve it. Keeping her mystery allows her to retain control of her narrative and project strength without aggression. In love, she lets her presence linger like a fragrance that draws attention without demanding it. She doesn't overshare her schedule, her thoughts, or her feelings in an effort to appear indispensable. She allows a man to earn his knowledge of her life, to appreciate her stories, to earn the depth she offers gradually. She has witnessed how women who reveal themselves too quickly often experience disappointment, being undervalued or misunderstood. She understands that mystery is a magnet for those with genuine interest and a filter for those who only seek temporary entertainment. In daily interactions, she applies mystery to social media, to casual acquaintances, to conversations at parties, and even to family. She does not broadcast every emotion, every event, every decision. She understands that by leaving some things unsaid, she preserves her dignity and cultivates curiosity. Those who seek to understand her will ask questions, listen carefully, and engage with intention. Those who are casual will lose interest, revealing who truly respects her presence. She has learned that mystery is a tool for discerning loyalty, sincerity, and intention. She keeps her mystery by mastering the art of subtlety. When complimented, she thanks gracefully without over-explaining or seeking validation. When faced with challenges, she responds with calm, measured strength rather than oversharing her struggles. When approached by someone interested, she allows intrigue to build naturally, letting them discover her personality, her humor, her intelligence over time. Every interaction is measured, intentional, and aligned with her sense of self-worth. Even in her internal life, she keeps mystery by guarding her thoughts, her plans, and her dreams. She doesn't reveal every ambition to those who may not support her, every doubt to those who may exploit her vulnerability, every triumph to those who may envy. She writes her story with intention, turning pages at her own pace, allowing life to reveal the chapters as they are ready. She has learned that a woman who guards her inner life is not distant or cold. She is powerful, deliberate, and unstoppable. She knows that keeping her mystery is not about manipulation. It is about self-respect, wisdom, and the sacredness of her energy. It is about allowing people to earn their knowledge of her, their closeness to her, and their right to her trust. It is about showing that her presence, her heart, her mind, and her soul are treasures, not commodities. She moves through the world with this quiet power, a presence that intrigues, inspires, and commands respect without demanding it. In every interaction, every conversation, every relationship, she remembers. And a woman who reveals herself slowly teaches the world how to value her, respects her own energy, and protects her spirit from being taken for granted. She keeps her mystery not to confuse, but to cultivate authenticity, to build patience, and to allow love, friendship, and respect to grow naturally, deeply, and enduringly. Let him choose his path. A high-value woman understands that her energy, her heart, and her presence are not playgrounds for indecision. She has learned that love is not about dragging someone along, convincing them of her worth, or forcing their commitment. She has walked through the trials of half-hearted affection, empty promises, and the exhaustion of carrying someone else's choices on her shoulders. She knows now that the power of a woman lies in her ability to stand firm, to let life reveal who is willing to walk beside her and who is only passing through. She allows a man to choose his path because she respects herself too much to take responsibility for someone else's direction. In everyday life, she sees this truth reflected in relationships, friendships, and even professional connections. There was a time when she might have convinced a lover to try harder, to stay longer, to care more deeply. She has learned that anyone who cannot choose her freely will never value her truly. When a man hesitates, doubts, or falters, she does not fill the gaps for him. She watches how he moves, how he decides, how he commits or does not commit. His choices reveal his character, his priorities, and his ability to honor another person's heart. Consider the woman who waited months for a man to decide whether he wanted to fully engage in a relationship. She did not beg for certainty. She did not threaten to walk away. She let him make the choice, and in doing so, she discovered a profound truth. A man who genuinely wants to be with her will move mountains, make sacrifices, and demonstrate loyalty without being coerced. A man who is uncertain, careless, or unready will reveal himself naturally, without pressure or manipulation. By letting him choose, she protects her peace, preserves her dignity, and ensures that only genuine intention earns a place in her life. She applies this principle in friendships as well. She does not chase people who vanish when she needs them most. She does not beg for validation from those who cannot celebrate her victories or respect her struggles. Instead, she allows them to choose, to invest their time, to show support, to maintain loyalty. She watches the ones who remain, who consistently show up, who prove that connection is mutual. She has learned that love, respect, and loyalty cannot be demanded. They must be chosen freely every day through repeated action. Even in her career, she lets people choose their paths. She does not force mentorship, collaboration, or recognition. She demonstrates her skills, her intellect, and her creativity, but she does not plead for opportunities that others are unwilling to provide. She allows colleagues, clients, and leaders to make the choice to value her contributions. She observes those who lift her, support her growth, and align with her vision. She notices those who hesitate, undermine, or diminish her work. She knows that when she stands still and allows others to choose, the truth about their character and intentions becomes unmistakably clear. In love, letting a man choose his path means resisting the temptation to control outcomes, manipulate feelings, or overcompensate to keep him close. It means establishing boundaries, standing firm in her worth, and allowing him the freedom to either rise to the level of her standards or walk away. She observes his effort, his patience, his respect, and his consistency. She understands that a man who chooses her path consciously, with intention and clarity, is a man who will honor her heart and her energy, She has seen too many women exhaust themselves trying to guide someone toward commitment, only to find that control was an illusion and the effort wasted. Daily life offers countless examples. A man hesitates to introduce her to his world. He avoids meeting her friends or family. He delays conversations about the future. She notices, but she does not chase. She allows him to choose whether he is willing to step into her life fully. If he chooses not to, she accepts the reality with grace, understanding that someone unwilling to commit freely is not worthy of her love. She has learned that freedom of choice is the ultimate test of intention. Those who truly care will choose their path, and those who do not will reveal their priorities without a single word. She also sees the importance of letting him choose his path in communication. She does not call repeatedly when he is distant. She does not send endless messages to elicit a response. She gives him space to show interest, effort, and attentiveness. She understands that forcing connection leads only to imbalance and frustration. By stepping back, she allows him to demonstrate whether he values her presence enough to pursue it actively. She knows that in a man's actions, guided by his own choice, are worth far more than words extracted under pressure. In everyday interactions, she notices the subtleties. A man makes a plan. Will he follow through without reminders? A man speaks of his intentions. Will he act on them without being urged? A man shows care. Will he maintain it consistently, or will it fade when attention is diverted? She lets his choices answer these questions. She understands that a woman who tries to orchestrate someone else's path often loses herself in the process. By allowing him to choose, she safeguards her energy, maintains her dignity, and ensures that only authenticity becomes part of her journey. Letting him choose his path is ultimately an act of faith, wisdom, and self-respect. She trusts the universe to bring the right people into her life, those who step forward with clarity, courage, and intention. She understands that love is not a battle to be won, a prize to be claimed, or responsibility to be managed. It is a journey walked together, freely chosen by both souls. She watches, she waits, she observes, and in that waiting, she uncovers the truth about those who are worthy of her presence, her trust, and her heart. She lets him choose because she knows that any path forced is a path of compromise, confusion, and heartbreak. She has seen women try to bend love to their will only to find that compromise eroded their value. She has seen patience reveal patterns and choice reveal priorities. She has learned that a man who chooses his path intentionally and wholeheartedly becomes a partner, not a project, as she honors herself enough to step back, stand firm, and let life and intention unfold naturally. And so, my dear, this is the truth every high-value woman carries in her heart. You are not a puzzle for someone else to solve. You are a masterpiece that demands respect, patience, and reverence. You are not a convenience for the indecisive, nor a consolation prize for the unworthy. You are the sunrise that cannot be rushed, the ocean whose depth must be honored, the flame whose warmth is only given to those who approach with intention. Remember this always. A woman who knows her worth does not beg, does not chase, does not settle. She waits, she watches, she chooses, and she allows life to reveal the truth about those who are meant to walk beside her. Every time a man shows hesitancy, let it be a mirror. Every time a friend falters, let it be a lesson. Every time the world tests you, let it strengthen your roots. Because, my dear, strength is not loud. Strength is steady. Confidence is not displayed in desperation. Confidence is silent, unshakable, and magnetic. You are the kind of woman who does not need to shout to be heard. The right people will listen. The right people will see. The right people will move towards you without being asked. And the rest, they will drift away as they always do, revealing their true nature without you needing to act. Understand this. The love you deserve is not a hurried love. It is not a love that demands you compromise your dignity, your boundaries, or your self-respect. It is a love that grows with you, matches your energy, honors your silence, and respects your strength. The right man, the right friend, the right partner does not require you to lower your value or to teach them how to care. They arrive with clarity, intention, and respect. They move forward willingly because they recognize what is rare and precious, the woman who will not settle for less than what she is worth. Think of every moment you have spent questioning your worth, chasing approval, or bending to someone else's indecision. Each of those moments is a lesson, a seed planted for growth. Each setback is a reminder that the universe has a plan far greater than your impatience. You were never meant to be ordinary, never meant to settle, never meant to give your energy to those who cannot appreciate it. Your time, your presence, your heart are sacred. And when you finally embrace this truth, the world bends to your power. The men who do not choose, the friends who do not show up, the opportunities that never arrive, they were never meant to define you. You are the definition of yourself. Remember the words of those who have walked this path before. Do not cry because it is over. Smile because it happened. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every moment of loneliness is shaping you into someone unshakable. And as you rise, you will find that the right people, the right love, the right opportunities arrive not with force, but with grace, perfectly timed for your journey. You will no longer chase. You will attract. You will no longer doubt. You will stand firm. You will no longer settle. You will rise. Your silence will be louder than their words. Your absence will teach lessons they could not learn otherwise. Your patience will weed out what is unworthy, and your self-respect will cultivate what is extraordinary. Never forget that the power of a woman lies in her ability to honor herself first, to wait for what aligns with her value, and to let the world reveal itself through the choices of those who approach her. Every step you take in self-respect, every boundary you uphold, every heart you protect strengthens the legacy of your strength. And in the words that echo through time, a woman is like a tea bag. You never know how strong she is until she's in hot water. Your strength is undeniable. Your worth is non-negotiable. Your power is magnetic. You are not a chapter in someone else's story. You are the author of your own epic. You are the queen of your journey, the architect of your destiny, the keeper of your soul. Let no one hurry you. Let no one rush you. Let no one define you. Stand tall, shine bright, and remember, those who are meant to be with you will walk the path you have built with respect, intention, and love, and those who do not will fade away, making room for the extraordinary life that belongs to you and to you alone. This is your truth, your power, your legacy, and your awakening. Walk in it, embrace it, and let the world learn how a high-value woman commands her life without apology.